Ooni of Ife's father, Queen Naomi and Princess Adeola allegedly pleaded with Olori, Dr. Elizabeth, to return back to the palace. From what we heard allegedly, they said Olori Elizabeth has been with his father, have been in his father's house in Magado in Lagos for some time now. After the first week that Tobi gave birth, they said she went there with Olori Mariam to go and spend some days with Tobi. And from what we heard, they said she spent 2 days with Tobi, after which she went to uh, Switzerland for her medical checkup. And ever since she returned from that Switzerland, they said she had been in her father's house. And when they reached out to her to know why she's not yet back, they said she wanted to rest. Maybe she must have confided in her mother and her father. They were the ones who must have told the king that, look, oh, your wife, Dr. Elizabeth, is not happy about the way things are going on in the palace. First, according to what we heard, they said this issue of dissolving the Council of Chiefs, from what we heard allegedly, that when Dr. Elizabeth enters the palace and noticed what was going on in that among the chiefs, he suggested to the king that it would be a good idea to dissolve the Council of Chiefs so that he would choose those people that will work with him in confidence, people that he would trust. And they said the king did not buy the idea then. Even his father, too, from what we said, also suggested that. But there was a time we keep hearing that he doesn't like to listen to people's advice and all of that. But and that time he kept making series of mistakes from what we are hearing allegedly. uh Now, coupled with the fact that when Dr. Elizabeth, who have been working hard to ensure that QueenNaomi returns back to the palace, and at some point it looks as if Ooni of Ife is not doing as expected. We all have been expecting that by now all the story of QueenNaomi will return today, she will return tomorrow would have ended. Either she returns back to the palace or the king releases her to go and remarry. So with all of this, they said Dr. Elizabeth was not happy with the king, due to the fact that he wasn't making her proud based on her uh, efforts to ensure that they reunite together. And one thing about Dr. Elizabeth, from what we heard, is that they say she is another woman in that palace that is so dear to the king because she cares so much. She's not just a doctor by education. From what we heard, they say she's also a doctor by profession, you know. So she have been the one taking care of the king's health ever since she enters the palace. So to the king and to the entire Ogunwusi family, they love her because she have uh, shown that she's worth loving. Unlike some people who came with a gift and all of a sudden they started showing who they truly are. So they said the family hold her at high esteem, you know, and they really want her back. They have contacted her and she keeps saying that she is resting, that she needed some time for herself, that the palace is not a is not a child's play. So right now they say she have stayed and stayed and she have stayed so long there that she is expected to return and yet she's not returning. Now, maybe the king must have talked and talked and talked. Right now, we heard that Ooni of Ife's father reached out to her, begging her to return back to the palace, that whatever be the problem, that he is going to make sure that it is solved, you know. And at this point, that the king needs her around and all of that. Why they said it did not end there, that even Queen Naomi too called her, begging her to return back to the palace, that the king needs her right now more than ever. They said Princess Diola too, who really loved her father, who would want the father to be happy. They said they were the people that also called her to beg her to please return back to the palace, that she is highly needed in the palace. So with all of this, a lot of people are saying that The reason she left might not be because of Queen Naomi. Maybe there is something because a lot of people believe that Dr. Elizabeth and Queen Naomi are co-wives. She cannot just leave her marriage because Queen Naomi is not returning back. Then there is this other rumor we heard about her being angry that this Lola, that the Lola have so much access into the palace. She enters anytime she wants. Lola happens to be one of the concubines of the king. And they said Lola and the king have been together for quite a long time, you know. So maybe the king still makes Lola feel so comfortable with him by coming to the palace the way she used to come, or even some people say she even have chalets in the palace. I don't know how true it is. Like I told you, these are all alleged information. I do not live in the palace. I am just a blogger, okay? So a lot of people believe that it must not be necessarily because of Queen Naomi's return and all of that, that the king have not there are things that maybe the king is not doing well and all of that. But if that should be the case, let's not forget that there is no perfect human being anywhere. Yes, so there is no perfect human being anywhere, let alone a king. Ooni of Ife is a great king, you know. So, and since Dr. Elizabeth have agreed to marry him, and knowing that he's a monarch, and if you remember, on the day of their traditional marriage, I saw a video where Dr. Elizabeth's father was telling her that there is this possibility that your husband, the king, Ooni of Ife, might marry more wives. Yes, I saw that video. So if it is about Lola, I don't think it's such a big deal, knowing fully well that the king might still marry other ones later. So if that should be the case, Dr. Elizabeth shouldn't leave her marriage because of that. Then if it is for Queen Naomi, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Or maybe because of some certain things that the king is not, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever be the case, it's better that Dr. Elizabeth returns back to the king because the king needs her right now more than ever. Especially now that Queen Naomi is not around. So guys, they said the father called to ask her to please return back, that whatever be the case, that they are going to make sure that it will be sorted out. They said Queen Naomi also called, and Princess Adeola too. They called her and begged her to please return back to the palace. Like I told you, these are all alleged information. I'm not in the palace. Tell me what you think about it on the comment section. Subscribe to my channel. Give my video a thumbs up. If you're watching me from Facebook, follow this page for more. If you're watching me from TikTok, follow my page. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Bye for now.